Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. So we'll start with today's webinar. Thank you. And today's webinar, our topic is Rethinking Revision and Remediation for Smart School, Part 2. So today's webinar is brought to you by Varthana. We have done Part 1 of this webinar. Varthana is doing a series of webinar for school development. We have covered some previous topics like NEP and government initiative and revision and remediation, a bit basic about the assessment related to it. So please stay tuned to Varthana for joining these webinar in upcoming days as well. Other thing is we are also issuing the participation certificate to the people who will be attending the webinar throughout. So please stay tuned, fill the feedback form towards the end. Then only we'll be able to issue the participant certificate. So let's move on and see today's agenda. So today we'll be covering about introduction and session objective. We'll be covering introduction and session objective, revision and effective revision and remediation, some of the strategies to do effective revision and remediation, some sample plans of revision or a lesson plan and remediation plan, stress management technique for effective learning outcome of student, and Varthana program, followed by feedback and closing. So I'll start with a quick introduction. I'm going to launch a poll here to understand the participant profile. I'll request everyone to please share your responses. I'll be keeping this poll open for 30 seconds. I'm going to launch the poll result here. So most of the people who have joined us are teachers today, 84% and 10% school leaders, and few of them are others. So thank you once again. Let's move back to today's session and understand what is today's objective. So today we'll be focusing on understanding the effective revision and remediation strategies. We have already covered what it is and what sort of assessment should be done to do it. I'm going to do a quick recap of that. The other is to create an effective lesson plan and remediation plan using the strategies which we'll be covering, followed by discussion on effective stress management techniques for students, and how teachers can effectively leverage that for better learning outcome. So let's do a quick recap. Some of you may have joined the webinar earlier. Please feel free to raise your hand and share your learnings in the process when we'll be covering and doing the recap. So we have covered revision and remediation. What is revision? Revision is a process of reviewing or going through something which is already covered or taught, and this is with the purpose of helping student perform better and revise and retain information in longer duration. So why it is important for ensuring the student has understood the concept. Also, when we learn something, our learning got stored in our short-term memory. So store it in a long-term memory. A quick repetition of knowledge and content is required. So it helps. So revisions help to store the information in the long-term memory. It also helps a better understanding of application knowledge. Not only knowing it, how you can apply the same knowledge. This can be done using different processes or strategies or teaching methods during the revision to ensure that a kid is learning to apply the learned concept. Also, it helps in reducing exam anxiety, and it gives confidence to the student to apply the knowledge as well as perform better in school. Many times kids are good at it, they know, they learn, but when it comes to giving the exam, they get stressed out and it impacts their performance. If they feel confident through revising and revisiting the concept, they'll be able to perform better in school. When to do it before any assessment or exam, it's important and crucial to sort of store things in short-term and long-term memory post any longer break. So if a student is coming after winter break or summer break, this can be done. Whatever is being taught prior to summer vacation can be quickly revisited. It's crucial post every chapter or concept. So after every chapter you're teaching or every class you're taking or concept you're teaching in the classroom, a quick revision can be done using small formative assessments. By taking small formative assessments, we have also covered remediation. What is remediation? It's the purpose of remediation is identifying the learning gap and catering to the learning gap. So for example, a student is struggling in writing addition, in doing addition. So for that, we need to check the understanding or maybe help student to revisit the concept of numbers, or how a number carry forwards, how you can add, indulge in different activities. So it's important to understand that what is the concept or a learning gap is there, and cater it better through the remediation techniques. Why it is important to provide individual support. So when you teach a student in a class of 40, the student have different learning level, learning style. Many of them are able to grab a few of the concept quickly, and others struggle. So it's important to identify and provide them content or knowledge to ensure that they are learning in their way. And for that, it's important to do remediation, as kids with different needs need a different kind of intervention, and you can definitely provide individualized support. Minimize learning gap. So when there's a gap between learning and revisiting some concepts, the gaps keep on widening. So if, as I said, the first student may struggle to write a four-letter word, so for that you may need to revisit and see the alphabetic understanding of a student, or phonics, how a student is using the phonics in formulating a word, or CVC words. So it's important to check and bridge the gap of the previous concept, so you can take the learning forward from there. To boost confidence, so once a student may struggle at one concept, the students start doubting themselves and keep on repeating the same mistake, or there's a lot of self-doubt. So a remediation program helps student to come on the same page like the other classmates, and it definitely boosts confidence, helps to master any key concept. So it's important to put a lot of emphasis on foundational building of foundation building, or conceptual learning, to do good in career or in higher grades. So it's important to cater that. When to do it, if there's a gap which is widening, if you see that a set of students are constantly facing challenge in coping up what is being taught in the classroom, so that time it can be done before advancing to any complex topics. So for example, if you are teaching some concepts, so you have to touch upon the basic concepts from where it starts, and then take it to the other levels. So again, as maybe you start with alphabets, then you go to CVC word, a word writing, a four-letter word writing, five-letter, then a sentence formation, a paragraph formation. So when you are moving from a simple concept to the complex topic, it's important, and it adds a lot of benefits if you're doing the remediation. If there's a periodic check-in, again, if a student is coming after school to the school after 2 months summer break, so you need to check what is the learning gap which student have faced in the duration. So if a, or for example, for pandemics, students were out of school for 2 years. So what they have learned, or what they have forgotten, what were the concept which needs to revisited through remediation, to ensure that the key conceptual building is happening. So it's important to do these periodic check-ins to ensure that all the students are getting the required support and also growing together. Before any assessment, remediation is also important, as to the focus is to build the key concept, because the key concepts are crucial to perform better in higher grades, because those students who fail to learn key concept in the initial stage, or the foundational learning is not that strong, they struggle to perform better in higher grades as well. The revision process which we have covered is a three-step process. So for revision, it's important to do a formative assessment, measure the learning outcome, formulate strategies to cater the learning outcome of the student, and monitor and evaluate. The process of doing this is to understand the purpose of doing a revision is to ensure that the achievement or the success, like the kid is learning periodically and performing good, and the conceptual understanding is there. What it is, like why, when to do it is after any chapter or any grade you're completing. If a student is transitioning from 11 to 12 standard, a revision can be done. If there's a terminal exam which is happening, if there's a monthly assessment which you are taking, so this is the time when you can use formative assessment to do it. suitable. It's suitable for all the grades, and there are different types of formative assessment which can be done. And how to do it, I think I've already covered that. You can do it in form of standardized test, or as a project you can help student to revise, or in day-to-day classes, or just after completing a chapter. So this is a quick recap of what we have covered in previous webinar, that is revision process, and a bit of a formative assessment, and when to do it and how to do it, what is the purpose of doing it. So let's move and discuss that. What are few of the things you're doing in revision for your classroom? So I would like to hear it from you, and you can put it in Q&A section, or you can also raise your hand and share that what are some of the things, what are few of the things you're doing for revision in your classroom. I'm sure you all must be doing something to do revision. So please either raise a hand or put it in Q&A section. Are you doing oral revision, written revision, practice previous question paper? Yes, thank you. Conduct quiz to revise topic. Good approach. Thank you for sharing your responses. Yeah, some of the things you have mentioned is correct, that practicing previous year question paper, revising through quizzes, debate, other forms is a good way to revise. Let's see some strategies to do effective revision. So we'll be covering 3 strategies today. We'll start with recollect, pair, share. The other is Freyr's model, and then followed by it, we'll be talking about what is mind map and how to do it. How mind map can be effectively used for revision. So we'll start with recollect, pair, share. So it's one of the most effective activity which you can do in the classroom. It's easy to do, and this is with the purpose. This techniques help to recall different concept in a group. You can assign a student in group, and there's a lot of cross learning which happens when kids discuss among themselves, students discuss among themselves. And this also helps them to reflect a lot and come up with their own thought process. And the moment you indulge in thinking and saying and doing something, it automatically is stored in your long-term memory. So it is one of the most effective revision strategy. What are these steps you should follow to do it? Think about it, make a specific question, throw it on the student, ask them to think about it, give them a topic and ask them to be creative and what do they think. Throw such questions to them, pair them in a group, maybe a small group of 4, or maybe one-on-one group, maybe a group of 2 people, and ask them to share what they have learned. And this can be done easily on daily basis. I'll come to that as well. This is suitable for 1st to 10th grade. Some of the examples which you can like how you can teach a topic using recollect, pair, share, or how you can help student revise a recollect, pair, share through recollect, pair, share strategy is maybe you can just give them a science experiment on density and ask student that they have to share it with the like the other peer, that which of you throw some items in the tub and ask them which of the items will float and why. So these question can be thrown, or if you're teaching a English subject, you can ask some question related to the main character, the character's text, what student think, what will they do if they'll be in that position. So these are small activities which can be done using the strategies to revise the concept. Let's see example here. One of the example can be indulge a student in a small group activity doing reading, writing, pairing, and sharing. So you can just give them a text to read. Here the text is a tradition about eating bug, and how they feel and how ancestors used to do it. They used to find and hunt for bugs and eat it, and that was part of their daily diet. You can encourage student to share that what do they think about the text. So here they'll be indulged in the critical thinking part and reflecting on it and coming up with their answers. They may say that they may not want to do it, or they may want to do it, and maybe this is something which is not that something that good to them as a food option. Why does and then they have to ask their partner, that what do they think about it. Maybe the partner agree to the same thought process, disagree, or can have a different thought process. And at the end, you can encourage them to share that collectively what do they think, and it also helps with collaboration and teamwork. So this strategy and activity is not only building the conceptual understanding, but also building the team work and collaboration skill in the student. And if you see the activity sort of catering to the different needs and indulging student into reading a text, a visual method, auditory method, and kinesthetic by sharing it. It can be done through activity. So let's move and see the second example, Freyr's model. Before I move on, I would like to hear it from you that if you can share that, have you heard about this Freyr model earlier? You can share in Q&A section. Have you heard about Freyr's model earlier? Or any of you are using this model? No. Okay. So the Freyr model is a graphical representation. It's a way to organize things or words or some concepts. The model is basically used to build the in-depth understanding of a particular concept. So if you want to do a conceptual building of numbers or some grammatical grammar related topics, or some phonics or anything, if you want to focus on building a conceptual understanding related to something, then this is one of the effective topic which you can effective model which you can use. So the model is focused and covers, there are four aspects of the model. One is to define the topic, the concept what you are working on, describe it, what it is, and support it with some examples. So something to make give examples related to the same concept, and some things which are not relevant or related to the same concept. So when two steps to follow it is define or describe, provide an example and some non-example. So for example, I want to teach my student the concept of soil. So I can define that what is soil. My description can be soil. These are type of soil found in these geographical areas. Some of the example of soil can be red soil, laterite soil, and these things. And some non-examples can be hydrogen or anything. You can put that which is not relevant to the topic. The grade which you can cover using this topic is kindergarten to 12th. One of the example is you can do it for noun. So you can define the noun. What is noun? What are some of the characteristics of noun? What are examples of noun like India, book, ocean? What are some of the examples of non-noun? Are run, laugh, etc. So here again, I'll be showing an example here. So the model is you put the concept in the middle, formulate 4 box. In one quadrant, put define. Define what is noun. So it's a part of speech. It's a word that names something is a noun. Nouns are common and proper, so types of noun. Some of the characteristics are noun name people, place, and things. Noun can be singular and plural. Nouns usually act as subject. Some of the examples are Africa, book, apple, boxes. Non-examples, run, laugh. So here you can see that you're teaching a concept and you're teaching some relevant things related to the concept. So it's limited information, but valuable information which student need to retain and learn to utilize and perform better in the exams. So this is one of the example. The similar example for this, you can use it for English, math, and any subject. So for example, if you want to teach composite number, you define what is composite number, the facts about composite number. So 4 is the lower composite number, 2 is not only, 2 is the only even number that is not a composite number. Some examples is 4, 6, 8, 9, 12, 15 and all. And non-examples are 1 to 5. So a student is building and learning a concept and only learning relevant things. So there are a lot of irrelevant things or not that important. I wouldn't say irrelevant. There are a lot of non-important things which are there in a chapter, and it's difficult for student to retain all the information. So using the Freyr's model, you can pass on the valuable information to the student, which will help them to also build the foundational conceptual and foundational understanding of some concepts. The other model is mind map. I think this is one of the thing which is a lot used in generating new ideas. It's a graphical ways to represent ideas and concept. This is not only for learning, it's for learning, reflecting, and generating new ideas. So as we all know that we are living in 21st century skill, and knowing something is not important. We need to start pushing student to do further, or think beyond, or out of the box, and come up with better ideas and better suggestions. So mind map helps and sort of give the support to come up with those ideas. So it helps to visualize structure, information, analyze better, and comprehend better. So some of the steps to follow is create a central idea. So for any mind map, there is a central idea. So for example, as a student, I want to do a campaign for creating awareness in the society related to sanitation. So that is my central idea. My other branches is what are the things I need to do, what are the resources I'll be needing, or when I'll be doing it. So these can be my sub branches. Addition to that, and from where I'll be getting those resources, what would be the timeline for it. So this the mind map is not only for learning concept, it's also for better time management. Again, as I've said, generating and ideating new ideas, remembering and recalling few important things, important key concepts, add some keywords to remember them, color code those branches. So this can be done. I'll be showing one of the example of that as well, for that as well. It's the grade suitable. For mind map, it's more suitable for 5th to 12th standard student. A bit difficult to do with pre-primary or primary section. One of the example of mind map can be, you can teach doing like a concept of water cycle or Mughal dynasty, from whom the dynasty started, which are the areas which were part of Mughal dynasty, who were the ruling kings, and in which era, which region got merged. So all these can be taught and help student to keep in mind in a systematic way using mind map. So let's see the example. Here, one of the simple example of a mind map is a hydrological cycle, that how sort of like we see rain, what is the process of that. So from ocean, the water gets evaporated, then there's air, condensation happens, cloud formulation happens, and then it rains, and then some of the water got relocated in ground, and other slips into ocean, and the cycles keep on working. So using this mind map, it's easy to sort of remember the step-by-step process, that what comes after what, and the words are small and easy to remember, instead of remember or reading the entire paragraph. And it's also an effective way to do a quick revision. So if there's a mind map with a student, they can easily revisit the concepts in a short duration. So we have covered the 3 strategies. I would like to hear from you that which of these revision strategies you are excited about using in your school. So for that, I'm going to launch a poll here. Please submit your responses. I'll be keeping it open for 30 seconds. That the 3 strategies which we have discussed for revision, which one you think you're going to use in your school? I'm going to publish the result here. So mostly people have said that either they use think, pair, share, and all the strategies. And we have got equal votes for Freya model and mind map. I know it can be a bit difficult to do Freya's model and mind map, but once you teach your students to do it by themselves, they'll be able to do it on their own, and that will help them to do their personal revision. So thank you for sharing your responses. Now let's come to what are the few things. So far we have covered revision and some strategies to do revision. But as we have seen earlier, that there's a difference between revision and remediation. So revision is revising and reteaching something. Remediation is identifying what is the issue and then teaching the student accordingly through the targeted intervention. So, what are few things which you are doing for remediation? Are you doing something for remediation? You can please put it in Q&A section. Or are you just doing revision for your school? So, I'm gonna wait for responses here for 30 seconds. So please share that. So I have not received any response. As I have said, that revision is identifying the issue and then sort of uh, ensuring or providing a targeted intervention to the student to learn better. And this can be done using the diagnostic assessment, that the identification of the root cause can be done or the learning gap can be done. So some of the strategies which you can will come to that what you can do and what are the strategies which you can cover. So before that, we'll do a recap of the previous session, where it starts the remediation process, covers a diagnostic assessment, sorry, a diagnostic assessment, where the focus is to measure the learning gap using a comprehensive assessment, do intervention plans, targeting teaching based on the learning gap, monitoring and evaluation. The purpose of doing the diagnostic assessment is to identify the learning gap. That is crucial, and also to provide targeted instruction to ensure that the gap is getting filled, and you're able to bring student on the same page. What it is, the aim is to identify or help student know the strength, weaknesses, the what they are good at, what topics they need support with. It's suitable for kindergarten to 12th. How to do it? It can be done through a pre-test, before exam quizzes, or concept maps, self or peer assessment. So these are some ways to do diagnostic assessment. If you want to know more about this, you can please go and rewatch our previous webinar session. Right now, I'll be focusing more on how to do the remediation. So what are some of the strategies to do effective remediation? Here also there are many more strategies, but in today's session we'll be focusing on three strategies. One is collaborative learning, support program, and targeted intervention. And if you see, NEP is also talking a lot about collaborative learning and targeted intervention, and if required, provide support programs to students who needs and who are lacking behind in the classroom. So we'll start with collaborative approach. As the word itself says, that coming and working together and learning from each other. And as we all are aware, and there's a lot of research data which shows that students learn better from each other than the teacher. So the more you are able to involve students in working together in small group to achieve a goal, it's more encouraging for them. It foster critical skills, cultivate communication and teamwork, which is again quite important in 21st century. So this is what collaborative learning is. Steps which you need to follow as a teacher is focus on forming group, set a clear objective. So the diagnostic assessment help you to understand what are the needs, and using that needs, you can set clear objective and define an outcome, that by the end of the intervention, what are the desired outcome you're expecting. Also ensure effective facilitation, as children maybe are at different levels. So it's important to take care of that as well. It's suitable for all grades. So this can be catered for kindergarten to 12th standard student. Some of the example, what can be the ways you can do collaborative learning is indulging them into small energizer, icebreakers, some small group discussions, peer teaching. You can assign buddy system to them where they can interact and help and learn from each other. Some problem solving projects related to math, science, these subjects, where they'll be indulged in doing things by themselves, and you will be able to effectively provide support in doing or learning through some activities. So let's see example of collaborating like learning can be, or remediation can be. You can select a theme. Maybe the theme is element and chemical reaction. One of the small activity or pair share collaborative learning approach which you can do is create a list of vocabulary related to elements and chemical reactions. What sort of elements are there? Different type of chemical reaction. You can prepare a list of key terms related to these this topic. Explain the rule, as this is part of the effective facilitation, that you're defining what will you'll be doing, explaining the rules, and demonstrate the game, that how they'll be doing it. Maybe one of the student can come and draw a simple representation of the word or list of vocabulary they have got. Break it the class into small team, or the student who needs that specific intervention in small team, and ask them to guess around. So for example, you create a list, explain them the rule, ask them to come and draw. The other team has to guess what the students have drawn, and then they'll keep on taking turn, one by one person from this team and the other person from the other team can come and draw, and the team member can sit and guess, and towards the end you can facilitate a discussion and reflection. So that will complete the collaborative learning and skill building in student. And skill building includes critical thinking, communication, adaptability, a bit flexibility in group discussion. So these things are covered. The other remediation program is support program. So this is one of the thing which we don't pay much attention to, but there are a lot of options which are available to do that. So as part of this, like the remediation strategy, you can provide a comprehensive assistant to help students navigate through their learning gaps, and provide them services and resources to address their needs. This can effectively done using digital media or different apps. I'll come to that. Some of the steps which you can follow is start with a diagnostic assessment. Do a goal setting. So diagnostic assessment and goal settings are core for any remedial intervention. So it's important to indulge student in that, and then formulate your strategy to cater them better and implement the plan. The grade it is suitable for is first to 12th grade. Some of the example of support program can be, you can help student indulge in one-on-one tutoring depending on the need. So for example, a student is not doing well in maths, maybe you can call the parents and ask them to get the external support and indulge student, or maybe you can assign one teacher within the school, or maybe you can assign a buddy in the classroom who is able to support the student in learning the concept. Specialized workshop, maybe a half an hour workshop or 1 hour extra class can be taken after the school hour or before the school hour, or some maybe on weekends to provide support to the student, or can be done through remedial courses like unlock program. So I'll be covering unlock program in detail. So support program is basically providing extra material or extra study material and support and assistance to a student to come and build the foundational skills which they may have learned on, may have not learned while moving ahead in the grades. So it's important to do that. So here I'll be sharing an example. One of the example is we have this unlock workbook with us at Varthana, and this book is remedial in nature. It's easy to handle. We are covering 5E model here, which is quite effective, because through the book, a student is indulged in engagement, evaluation, exploration, explanation. So we are covering all this through through this book. The content which we are covering is of previous grades. So the focus is to build the conceptual understanding. So if a student is in 5th grade, the student will be getting content of 4th and 3rd as well, to get or build the conceptual understanding of a specific topic. You can do the diagnostic assessment and assign the chapter of the books accordingly, depending on the concept a student is struggling with. There's a program guide for teacher support as well, and an inbuilt assessment to ensure and do a regular check-in that what are the progress which is happening even after doing the remediation program, or doing the chapter, indulge in a 5E model and learning things where the student is still able to like grab the concept or not. The assessment, inbuilt assessment will give the clarity. Also, it's quite easy. Because language plays a major role, and the book have instruction in English and Hindi. So this is one of the example. The other example is Chimple app, where a student can take a demo and give a diagnostic assessment. Based on that diagnostic assessment, the app started showing different material, learning material and content, which a student can learn and do by themselves. So these are some of the support programs which, as a teacher, you can indulge student in, to sort of curve down your burden and also help them to perform or come to the grade level by getting the additional support. So let's move and see the third strategy for remediation, that is targeted intervention. So it's a personalized strategy which you'll be formulating to address the academic need of the student. Some of the steps followed, you can follow is a comprehensive evaluation to understand, identify the barriers, what is something which is sort of what is the gap which is there, what are the strengths which students have and how you can leverage that strength, and formulate customized plan to cater that need, suitable for kindergarten to 12th grade. Some of the example is flexing learning path, multi-sensory approach, and mentorship program. So you can do a mentorship program for students who are struggling in specific areas, or maybe a multi-sensory approach is one of the effective approach which can easily done in everyday basis, and this can be part of your like everyday lesson plan. So I'll just show you the example how you can do that. I'll cover example of multi-sensory remediation approach. So here the objective of teaching a student is to enhance the learning related to addition. So I want to, as a teacher, I wanted to teach addition. So here I'll be using the differentiated instruction strategy, where a student will be indulged in auditory, visual, and kinesthetic learning mode. So if us in a classroom there are different students with different learning style, all of them can be catered together, and the conceptual the concept can be taught accordingly. So some of the material needed can be number cards, flash cards, small objects, because I'll be teaching them and I'll be indulging them in activities. So these are the materials I'll be required. So first is sensory exploration, where I'll give a student opportunity to touch and explore things that what they are seeing. Assign a number, give them a task to go and explore things on different stations. So I'll be putting up different station using the free flashcards and numbers and objects, and I'll ask them to go touch, explore what you are seeing, and maybe make a note of it. Count it aloud, whatever you're seeing. Maybe you have 5 beads, so you have 10 beads. The flashcard you're holding is of number 10. So read it aloud, whatever you're holding. Now you draw the same on the board, or maybe you can draw the same on your notebook. So this is what I can do. And towards the end, maybe I can conclude the class or the conceptual teaching with the help of a math story. I can do a circle time story initially and say that, share that, have you heard about number? Do you see it every day? Where do you see it? What do you have seen today? Can you see something in the classroom today? So here, if you see, the remediation is happening. I'm focusing on building the conceptual understanding of addition using differentiated instruction, where a student is indulged in different activities, which a student, it's a self-centric learning, self-exploration is happening. So this adds a lot of value, and this is again one of the most effective way to do remediation. So the first strategy which I have talked about is collaborative approach, and this targeted intervention can be merged, and also you can include a lot of technology. You can add quizzes, you can create debate platforms. You can also do indulge student in some games to do such activities and help them to revise and rebuild the concepts or the learning. So here we have covered the strategies for remediation. As I've mentioned, that revision is a bit different from remediation. So I would like to know it from you that which of these strategies you think you're excited about using in your school. So again, I'll be launching a poll here. I'll request everyone to respond to it, that the revision strategies which we'll be covering, which of them you're excited to use. So I've launched the poll. I'm going to keep it open for 30 seconds. I'm going to publish the result here. So most of the people have opted for collaborative learning, and 36% of you have opted for all as well. Thank you for your responses. Hope you'll get to sort of explore and use all the strategies which we have covered. We'll be also sharing the handout of these strategies, so you can definitely revisit and see how you can plan it for your school and your student. So let's move on and see some sample plan. So what we have covered, let's see how you can use it in your day-to-day life. So we'll start with a sample lesson plan for revision because exams are coming, and you can start effectively doing a revision maybe from the initial time of the academic year. So if you're starting, so we tend to do revision mostly towards the end, but the effective way of doing revision is at a certain interval where the material or the learning is fresh. So you can use or design a lesson plan like this to ensure that the periodic revision is happening and it's effective. So here you can maybe in your lesson plan, you can add session competency, revision of previous concepts. So you can block 5 minutes time or 10 minutes time to do the revision of the topic which you have taught and a day prior to this one. Set the learning objective, which you'll be covering today, suggested some activities which you'll be doing, and followed by assessment. So here, if you see in this lesson plan, today maybe as a teacher, this is my lesson plan. I'm teaching a concept called comparing numbers, but the previous day I have taught rectangle. So here, today I want to maybe take 5-10 minutes time. I can ask, I may form 4 groups and ask one of the student to make a frame model and say that, define what is rectangle, what are the characteristics of rectangle, which are the things you're seeing in our surrounding as of rectangle shape, which are the things there in the classroom which is not rectangle in shape. So a quick revision can be done. So you can, of course, that you can move on to a regular day and focus on understanding of number formed using a given digit, 1 to 9, 0 to 9. Indulge the student in activities. Maybe in the next day, again, you can block a 5-10 minutes time and say that, okay, previous day we have learned compare number. Today I'll be doing a quick revision using this think, pair, share activity. And you can again ask student to share what they have learned in yesterday in a minute. You can just do just a minute session with them. So again, this is the purpose of sharing this lesson plan is that how you can do effective revision every day and not wait towards the end of the entire academic year or prior to exam to do that. Though it's also crucial, but it's important to do it at regular intervals. So the other is sample revision lesson plan for maths, grade 6. Again, the next day concept which you have taught was the expanded form of number. Again, use recollect, pair, share activity for revision, and then you can spend some time go ahead with teaching addition, subtraction, and division of large numbers. Maybe on 4th day you can use the concept like do the revision using mind map and ask student to write a series of n+2. So any number plus 2, maybe it's 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6. So in ascending and descending order. So here you can see that how these maybe sometimes these strategies may look scary, but if you effectively make and include it in your lesson plan, it's gonna add a lot of value. And you can also do assessment to ensure and check whether whatever the learning outcome you're expecting towards the end of the class is being achieved or not. The other I'll be covering is sample remediation plan. We have said that remediation is important, and this is a form of support program. Collaborative learning and targeted intervention is something you can do by yourself, or you can also do targeted intervention using this unlock program. Here, the book is in multilingual language. You can help student indulge in different activity using this phone. There's a lot of audiovisual thing which is available. So the video QR scanner, supplementary videos to learn the topic, different activities to indulge in, explain, explore, engage. So different. So the focus is to build the conceptual understanding, not only knowing something. The focus is also to implement the knowledge, which can be easily catered using this book. So the book is designed in a way where the focus is where a student learn things by themselves with the bit external support of the student, but the maximum learning is happening by doing by themselves, and it's a sort of catering audio visual and kinesthetic learner. A student can learn in watching videos, going and doing some Google research and reading the engagement content, then understand the explanation of it, that if it is what it is, indulge in doing some worksheets, and also followed by an assessment. So this is the program is an entire package to do a support program. And if you're interested in this, I'll just show you the book here. If you're, this is just a sample book. It's the bridge content. We'll be covering -2 grade. The concept which we'll be covering, I'll just take you through. So we'll be covering. So if you see the topics which are being touched are the foundations topic, the main concepts which a student need to learn and do better. So if you're interested in this particular support program, we are offering it to school and it's a free. So for that, you have to share your interest with us towards the end through the form, the feedback form, which we'll be sharing with you. But it's one of the effective support program. And these days, what is happening, even if school wants to use remediation support program for remediation, there are limited option available. So if you are interested, please do fill the form. So we have covered what is revision strategies, assessments, remediation strategies, some planning, how you can make a lesson plan to do effective revision, how you can plan the remediation for a student, and what are the resources which you can use. I would like to hear that, or also know that what are some of the other factors which are affecting the student performance, along with even if you do effective revision and remediation, what are some of the other factors which are contributing in not that consistent or poor performance among students? So to understand that, I'm going to launch a poll here. Also, I'll request if you want to share, because I'm sure there are different experiences related to this. So if you want to share, you can put it in Q&A section. So I'll launch a poll to understand this. I'm going to keep it open for 30 seconds. Please go ahead and vote. I'm going to publish the result here. I hope you all have voted. So thank you for your response. Many of you have said stress, lack of routine, lack of motivation and mindfulness. So yeah, all these factors are contributing in the poor performance or inconsistent performance among students, which we need to cater on. And mental health is one of the emerging issue which we all need to focus as a school. So ensure that a student is not only performing well academically, but the overall personality, and there's a holistic development of student which is happening. So let's move on and see that how we can do that. So it can be done using effective stress management techniques. Stress is one of the component which we all are facing in our day-to-day life, and it impacts student more because there are multiple factors that are surrounded with internal and external which sort of impact them, and they don't have many times they don't have a reliable source to share it with them and get suitable support. So it's important to help student start making mindful and also help them to deal with stress effectively. We are also covering this because you'll be able to do effective teaching, revision and remediation only if you're able to effectively help student navigate through stress which they are facing in their day-to-day life. So the first thing which you can do is focus on creating a positive environment which is free, flexible for student, where they feel there's this safe space to share their emotions and their thoughts, and they don't feel they should not feel not good enough about sharing or opening what they know, irrespective of what it is. So that is one thing which, as a teacher, we need to focus on. The other is guide them to do the SWOT analysis. Many times, we end up judging ourselves and focus more on our weaknesses. So you can encourage student by helping them do SWOT analysis and make them realize that what are the strengths they have and how they can leverage it, and what are the other areas of improvement they need to work on, and they'll be able to do that. The other is actively involved in regular exercise and meditation, as it helps to release the happy hormones, which regulates the student mood. So it's crucial to, maybe do some small activities, some movement related activities or energizer in the classroom. You can make it part of your lesson plan. So ensure that the exercise and meditation is happening regularly. And you can also maybe push the school management to do a bit of yoga and meditation during the prayer time. So that can be done. The other way you can do is one of the effective way of creating a safe space is do a circle time activity. It can be on any random topic. It gives an informal space for student to unfold their emotions and share. So it can be done on different topics, and a bit of informal conversation helps. And it also, there's a lot of research data shows that the student retentions are better where students sort of share a better informal relationship with the teacher and not only formal. So it's crucial to start doing and making all these things as part of your lesson plan, and encourage the gratitude journal writing. As I said, that many times we tend to look at the negative aspect of things and not the positive. So it's important to reflect and see what are the positive and good things happening, and you can guide through student to do the same and encourage them to do the journal writing. And these techniques may help them to do effective stress management, and that will directly affect the performance of the student. And that also saves a lot of time and energy of a teacher to indulge in different activities, and the efforts a teacher they are putting, there would be better outcome of that. So I'm going to do a quick revision of what we have covered in today's session. We did a recap of effective revision and remediation, and how it plays a pivotal role in education process and student success. The other is we focus on revision and remediation strategy and some of the essential strategies. We have covered three strategies. There are more, but maybe for starting, you can start with these three. For revision, it's recollect, share, pair, share, Freyr's model, and mind map. For remediation, we have talked about collaborative approach, support program, and targeted intervention. Towards the end, we covered that how effective stress management is important, and it's important to provide a conducive environment for the student to nurture and grow, and for the holistic development of the student. So if you want to share something, if you have any question, you can put it in Q&A section. But before that, I'll cover, we at Varthana, we have some academic solution partner. to ensure the effective learning and holistic development of the student. So we have this collaboration with Lead School. So if you're interested in interactive tech-based learning solution, you can contact with us, and we'll be able to share the more details with you. We also have another partner called Kyan. They provide digital device. It's a portable uh, projector for school with lot of content and indulging student in different revision and remediation. You can utilize to do that, and the portable projector will help you to help student interact uh, to cater those students with different learning styles, especially the kinesthetic and audiovisual learners. So audiovisual learners. So if you're interested, you can contact us on email us at hello@verthana.com, and this is our contact number.